the governor and I, and we were all doing a tour of the library here, and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
In the past, you've said that domestic oil producers have the leases, resources that they need to ramp up production. Is there any thought about invoking the Defense Production Act when it comes to energy?
Well, there are a range of ideas out there. That's one of them that a number of people have put forward. I would say that the Defense Production Act would mean giving government funding to companies or to purchase products. That's how it typically works. And we think they have the resources they need in order to expand their production.
I thank them for this nomination. But as soon as it was heard of, we were very instrumental in pushing. But as soon as the nomination came, the Congressional Black Caucus set out to say, first of all, anyone nominated as an African American woman we know would be qualified. But when she was nominated, actually, we were the anchor, we were the strength that pushed it on. For me personally, I'm 27 years on the Judiciary Committee. And with a little bit of humor, I wanted to stare down any untoward behavior and any funny business. And there may be funny business, and I've dealt with funny business a lot in my hearings in Judiciary Committee, and I'm known to be very good at staring down funny business.
Just quickly, it's been 2 years since President Trump implemented Title 42. There are protests outside the White House today. Democrats are now actively calling for it to end. COVID cases are low. Is the administration at least preparing for the possibility that this could end, and how so?
Sure. There are timelines, including, I think, upcoming in April, on when it's continues to be reconsidered. And those discussions happen among the health experts from the CDC and other medical experts within the administration. And you always have to prepare, because if they make that decision, there would be an implementation that would be in part led by the Department of Homeland Security and others that you have to plan for.
Does that include in preparing for a large influx of migrants at the border specifically?
Well, certainly that would be part of it if and when the CDC makes that determination.
Over 100 days, we have connected unhoused residents at Mass and Cass to housing, treatment, and services. We've launched 3 free bus lines. We've taken some big, bold actions, but I won't lie, this past winter was pretty intense. Trial by snow, trial by fire, fighters union. I'm getting used to dealing with problems that are expensive, disruptive, and white. I'm talking about snowflakes, I mean snowstorm snowflakes.
To the Israeli Prime Minister this weekend, he said on the JCPOA, unfortunately we're seeing a determination to sign a nuclear deal at almost any cost. This is too steep a price. Can I get your reaction to that? Is that what we're saying by pursuing this deal?
I would say we are in regular touch with our Israeli counterparts, including leaders. We don't have a deal yet. We're consulting with our allies and partners, including Israel, as we negotiate, and the president's going to make a decision on whether to re-enter the deal based on what's in the best interest of American security and strategic interests, including the security of our partners in regions like Israel. And if and when we have a deal, I'm sure we can discuss more specifics.
Most people don't really know what capitalism is. Most people don't even know what socialism is. But most people are not capitalists because they don't have capitalist money. They're not billionaires. Sometimes the label doesn't matter as much as just talking about policies. That's easier to understand. Do you think people should die because they can't afford insulin? Do you think that fossil fuel CEO should decide whether the planet gets set on fire?
Of course, that China has fully militarized at least 3 islands in the disputed South China Sea with anti-ship, anti-aircraft missile systems, laser and jamming equipment, fighter jets, despite Beijing's promises not to turn these islands into military bases. What is our takeaway from that, and how are we responding to that?
Well, Jacqui, I don't have confirmation of that from here. I've certainly seen the reports. I would point you to the Department of Defense for any more specific analysis, but obviously any escalatory actions in the South China Sea would be of concern.
Why haven't you been canceled? Like, people aren't allowed to say what they think. You are.
I am uncancelable.
Why's that?
Because I don't give And I'm not in bed with any big corporate things at the end of the day. There's nobody I'm beholden to, no record companies, no corporate interests, no nothing. And you can't cancel me. I love it when they try.
While we're not expecting a food shortage here at home, we do anticipate that higher energy, fertilizer, wheat, and corn prices could impact the price of growing and purchasing critical food supplies for countries around the world. And early estimates from the World Bank suggest disproportionate impacts on low and middle income countries, including in Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia.
On Face the Nation, the Chinese ambassador said China's position is for peace and that it's constantly doing everything it can to de-escalate. Do you agree with that?
Well, what I would note.
Is that a fair characterization of what China's doing?
Well, what I would note also in the same interview, he failed to condemn the actions of President Putin. I'm sorry?
He said it wouldn't make any difference. Do you agree with that?
I think our view is that verbal condemnation of the actions of President Putin and the actions of Russian military is important and vital. And it's about what side of history you want to stand on at this point in time. At the same time, as you know, the president had a lengthy discussion with President Xi on Friday, and we're going to continue to keep those lines of communication open. But what we would note here is also what is absent from a lot of their public commentary, which is condemnation at times. Sometimes it has been echoing of conspiracy theories that the Russians have put out there about chemical weapons. And we note that, what we want to hear is condemnation of what we're seeing on the ground.